Hey YouTube, what is up, and welcome to my first retro review. Now, this retro review is going to be the Thunderzord Assault Team, and I figured there couldn't be a better way to start it off because this is one of my favorite Zords that I got as a kid. Luckily enough, I actually got this from my cousin. I didn't buy this in the store, and he kept it mostly intact. He just lost the sword and a tailpiece. So, thank you to my cousin for giving me the Zord all the way back when I was about 4, because I kept it till now, and we're going to do a review of it. So, here's what the front of it looks like. I'm going to show the sides in a second, and then we'll go from there. Here's what the profile of the Zord looks like, and I just wanted to elaborate a little further as to why this is one of my favorite Zords. Now, it's not the most articulate Zord, it doesn't move around much. As you can see from the back, it's pretty rigid, but that didn't matter to me as a kid, because when I got this when I was 4, this was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen ever. Because I didn't know they had older Zords. And this thing is one of the fiercest, most beautiful looking Zords. I mean, look how good it looks after 20 years. I mean, I don't want to use the expression, they don't build them like they used to, but in terms of Power Rangers, it's really true. I mean, these old ones, this thing is 20 years old. Yeah, the stickers are peeling a tiny bit and the drawer in the front, the front hinge is a little loose, but that's it. After 20 years, if the only problem you have with something is a corner of a sticker peeling and a hinge not being as tight as it used to be, you know that they built it well. And it works great, no hinges are broken, nothing like that. It works perfectly after 20 years, and that's a lot to ask from a toy. Here's just a quick example of what I mean when I say they were built well and, they had quality going into them. I mean, look at these stickers 20 years later, how well it's still stuck to the Zord. Nothing's peeling at all. There's only about 3 spots where the Zord's stickers are peeling, and that's ridiculous. Now, as we start to break this Zord down, you get to one of my favorite things about one of my favorite Zords, that being the Red Dragon Zord. And I can't think of another instance of something like this in any other Zord up until current day. Is that there was a Zord that could transform into a dragon. In this instance, a dragon, it doesn't have to be a dragon, but it would transform into a red dragon, then it would transform into this, a humanoid fighting form, where it's its own Megazord. Then from there, you can combine it with a Thunderzord Assault Team to make the Thunderzord. It was the first time, and one of the only times I could think of a Zord having, smaller humanoid forms that would also have their own shapes. Of course, the Shogun Zord, which you see here, had smaller fighting robots, and the Zeo Zord does too, but both of those never had the ability for them to transform into something really complex that's also a humanoid form. These transformed into humanoid forms, but then they made basic shapes like a star or 2 cylinders. It didn't become something complex, it didn't become a unique form, it just became a shape or a lump that just sat there. And now I'm just going to quickly show you the other parts of the Zord. Here are the Griffin and the Unicorn Zords. They do look nice and they do differentiate between each other via the stickers and the way the necks are shaped, but they're pretty much identical otherwise. Next up, we have the Lion Zord, which I really do like the way it looks, but it seems like it is cut in half. Like, it seems like, there should have been more to it, and the back looks like it just kind of got chopped off a little bit. And next is the Firebird Zord, I think it is, or the Phoenix, whatever you wish to call it. Basically, this thing just gets covered up anytime you use it, and if you have one, don't worry about not having the leg piece that I have, because that came with the Tiger Zord. Now, I know you're probably sick of the Red Dragon Zord already, but here's what it looks like in Red Dragon mode, when it's in the Red Dragon Zord form. It looks great. That's the side, here's the front. I'm going to go a little closer so you can see the face of it, because that really does have a decent amount of detail to it, which I was pretty surprised. I didn't think they put that much detail into such an old toy, because it must have been pretty difficult. Here's the other side of it, just so you can see the differentiation with the stickers, and here you can see the top where it just looks like the Dragon Zord kind of laying back, and here's the bottom where you can see that's from 94 and Bandai, and here's the head just so you can see the detail I was talking about. It's pretty fancy for something made 20 years ago, because injection molding really wasn't as good as it is today. I mean, if you want to see the difference, just go check out my video where I showed the difference between the Legacy White Tiger Zord and the original, and you can see the leaps and bounds injection molding has taken in that time, where the difference is just ridiculous how detailed the new one is compared to the old one. The only wish I had is that for this Zord, I wish they put the amount of detail and effort they put into the Red Dragon Zord into the other Zords. I mean, the Lion, the Griffin, the Unicorn, the Firebird all seem a little lacking, and they seem just superfluous, and that they just, they're tacked onto this really great looking Zord. And they look great together, but, when they're separate, they don't really look that great. An example of that being the amount of articulation the Red Dragon Zord has, as you can see here, where it has bendable knees, bendable arms. You could raise the arms up and down. You could rotate at the shoulders and open the hands. Not many Zords had this amount of articulation for a very long time, and it just shows the disparity between, this Zord being able to do all this great stuff, and then the Lion Zord that comes with this that doesn't even have a bottom. and it doesn't even have a back end. You know, it's just, the difference is very apparent, and I just wish there was more effort gone into the other parts of the Zord besides just the red dragon. Now I'm just going to show you a quick version of me putting this Zord together, making the, you know, Zords into the Thunderzord. And it's one of my favorites to put together, but I really just think that's because it has the red dragon Zord in it, and I've had this since I was a kid, so I'm kind of biased. You know, this is one of the first Zords I had, really, so I'm probably pretty biased towards it, and I'm going to admit that. But the one thing I really do want as a Thunderzord is a legacy version of it, because they already made the legacy White Tiger Zord, and I really would love to see the next level, like legacy Thunderzord, where they just, you know, tweak it a little bit and give it the amount of detail that it really needs, because this is great, but imagine the legacy version. And I think that just about wraps up this Thunderzord review. So I'd like to say that the next Zord I'm going to do a review of is the White Tiger Zord, which I have the box and power coin and figure for. After that, I'm going to do the Torzord, which I have the box for, and after that, I'm going to do the Shogun Zord, which you saw before is just beautiful. So I'd like to say, if you like this video, give it a like so I know. If you want a Zord you want to see reviewed, give me a shout out in the comments down below. If I have it, I'll gladly do a review. And if you want to see more of these reviews, these retro reviews, don't forget to click subscribe because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.